When did you realize that you were trans?
Right out the gate, honey. I would say, early. Probably 5 to 10 years, my age 5 to 10.
How'd you realize it?
Wanting to be with the boys and the men and being a mother and the nurse and the teacher and the sister and
Okay. And did your family know, or how did you?
They knew, but it wasn't talked about. And I was always the sissy boy, the faggot, the homosexual, the punk, or something like that. So.
What was it like in the 70s? I know it's different.
Oh, I was a pretty young thing back then. I was too hot to try. And I didn't really have no problems. I got the occasional queer or homosexual or punk, but I steered clear of those people, and there was a whole lot of racism going on back then.
In Pennsylvania?
No, in Hawaii.
In Hawaii. What brought you to San Francisco?
Honey, the life, the gay life, the queer life. Back then, there wasn't no transgender. Transgender wasn't in vogue back in the 70s. It wasn't transgender. People very rarely talked about. I would say most transgendered women were talked upon were the ones that had the money or had some kind of clout. But I would say most African Americans who didn't have means, we weren't called transgenders. You know, we weren't called transgenders.
And what were you called? Like drag queens?
Drag queens, yeah, or gay boys or something.
So I know, from working with you and stuff, we've talked about your HIV status and stuff like that. Would you mind sharing that?
Well,
story?
yes, I'm still Miss Billie Cooper, and I was diagnosed in May of 1985. That was over, next year it'd be 30 years. As we know now in 2014, 30 years later, HIV infects and it affects so many people. I think everyone on the face of this earth is either affected or infected by HIV in some kind of way.
I know you run a support group.
Well, I thought you'd never ask. Yes, I have been given the honor of being a co-facilitator with Timothy Foster at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. A wonderful group, if I have to say so myself. Trans Life. It's about time the foundation steps up to the plate because my transgender sisters are dying of HIV. I am the face of HIV and the transgender woman. I kept up a steady outcry for the group, and they came around, and now we have a group, and I'm so honored.